Determining an appropriate strategy for a specific learning need requires cycles of reflection. When the first deliberate teaching strategies to improve numeracy outcomes didn't work, these tutors investigated other approaches to use literacy strengths to improve numeracy outcomes for their students.
Okay, one of the things around working out drug calculations is, you know where you were taught how to remember the formula, and sometimes we can't remember the formula? We started to realise that we were improving our success rates in terms of the drug calcs, but they still weren't brilliant, were they?
No.
And then I can remember quite clearly sitting down with Ros and Kriatiana and just about tearing my hair out and saying, all right, reflect. We were getting some student resistance around it and this, that, and the other. And then through this conversation together, decided that maybe their block was actually unpacking the question accurately enough to be able to use the matrix. So we did an intervention then around colour coding significant parts of the question, so that then they could see which numbers went on which side. And aha, light bulb moment, wasn't it? What a relief. Then we started to get some success. And what we're looking at is finding from the question where to put which measure, okay, so that we can work out the calculation. We defined our question around the idea of, well, could we use literacy interventions, because they were stronger in their literacy area, to support their numeracy learning, to enable them to get to level 6 in the numeracy progressions, to be able to perform drug calculations. I designed a booklet which was in colour and which contained 3 component parts, really, of trying to teach them how to work out the formula required for drug calcs.
It's visual, it's there, and it gives you that part of, read as always being the answer.
Yeah, it's make it much easier.
Like
it's colour-coded.
Ros had introduced them to the formula process, and about a third of the class could remember the formula manipulation. 2/3 just couldn't remember it. Sometimes they could remember and sometimes they just jolly couldn't.
We realised they didn't know what they were reading, and that was a lot of the problem. They didn't know, couldn't work out, like if the drug was in milligrams and they had to give it in micrograms. They weren't recognising that difference.
So it seemed to me that we needed to take a step before that. So if you forgot how to work the formula out, let's have some process whereby we can figure the formula out from the question. So essentially that's what it was based on. So I introduced my visual spatial matrix, where we started to look at colour coordinating component parts of the question so we could enter it onto our grid. To identify from this question what we're being asked to find. So what do you think we're being asked to find? Shout it out.
2 mils.
Mils.
Yeah.
Mils. Can we ring it in red?
Yes.
Circle it in red. Cool. Red. But what other information have we got in the question that's going to help us connect to the mil?
So the
units.
The units.
Penicillin.
So it has 200 ordered, 600 available.
Yes. 600 available in?
International units, in 2
in
mils.
2 mil.
Yeah.
So that's what's given to us. That's what we're going to be able to utilise. So ring that in blue. So now we can identify that we need our answer in mils. What's the connection?
It's in the same.
It's the same unit.
What's available?
How much?
200.
200. That goes in green. All right, so ring that one in green. Because that's what we've got to work our answer against. Okay, I really like the smiling faces. What's happening here?
The pennies dropped.
The pennies dropped. This is wonderful stuff. The upshot of it really was that by the time they got to their final exam and everything else, we had 100% pass. Yes, got it. I think we have to be careful around thinking about language literacy and numeracy as separate from each other. Because in essence, they're not. If you look at many of the numeracy questions that arise in assessments and exams and things, they have words attached to them. And so often the barrier can be in actually decoding, unpacking, comprehending the question. So I think working with the ability to lift literacy levels really, really helps numeracy understanding, because once students often can get to the numbers, the right numbers, then we can manipulate the numbers.